I'm Nick, and I help run Camp Zoofari here at the Houston Zoo. We're excited to bring the zoo to you with Camp Zoofari TV. Today we're learning all about how animals survive in the wild. We'll talk about how the human and animal needs for things like food, shelter, water, and space are either similar or different. With our chimpanzees, we'll learn how they communicate both within their troop and with other animals in their environment. With our Okapi, we'll talk about how their fur helps keep them dry in the wet forests of Central Africa. With our electric eel, we'll talk about how they use electricity to see and to hunt. And finally, with our leafcutter ant colony, we'll learn how teamwork helps to keep the entire colony safe. Along the way, we'll test your animal knowledge and discover ways that you can help the zoo in its mission of saving animals in the wild.
Some animals use their social skills to survive in the wild. Chimpanzees communicate in many different ways. They make sounds, use body language and facial expression to tell each other what they're thinking. When people smile, it usually means we're happy. It's the opposite for chimps. When they smile, it means they're feeling anxious or afraid. Grunting noises are more typical when a chimp is happy. There is so much to learn as a young chimp. Because of this, baby chimps stay with their mother until they're around 7 years old, so they can learn from her about family social structure and how to survive. They start their lives clinging to mom's belly and later transfer to ride piggyback until about 7 months old. Chimpanzees are very social animals. They use these social skills to help them survive in the wild. Here at the Houston Zoo, our chimpanzee troop consists of 14 chimps ranging in ages from 16 to 48, and they each have their own special skills they use to work together. Tansy, one of our female chimps, shows a lot of emotion. When she's in a good mood, she tries to get attention from anyone who will give it. She will press her lips against the exhibit glass and blow kisses to guests or follow her keepers around. She tends to also be very caring towards her chimp friends, and she'll try to calm a chimp who's upset or groom them. One survival skill a chimpanzee shares with humans is the ability to make and use tools. They will strip a branch of leaves, for example, to get ants or termites out of a hole, or use rocks as hammers to crack nuts. Lucy, the oldest female chimpanzee at the zoo, is a pro when it comes to using bamboo to fish for treats from the termite mound in the chimp exhibit. They can use these tools to groom one another, play games, or even catch food. Chimpanzees can use our help. That's why the Houston Zoo works to help save them in the wild. You can help too. Simply by recycling your devices like iPads or cell phones, you can help save chimpanzees in the wild.
We're ready.
We're ready. We're ready. We're ready. We're ready. Are you?
This odd-looking mammal isn't a zebra or a giraffe, even though he looks like he could be a mix of the two. Meet Kwame. He's a 20-year-old Okapi. Kwame has never met a stranger. He is the darling of our animal encounters and can usually be counted on to sneak in a kiss when you aren't looking. It isn't as pleasant as it sounds because it's with his 18-inch tongue that he also uses to stick up his nose. Animals like the Okapi use their bodies to survive in very wet environments, like dense rainforests in Central Africa and swamp forests in the West. These areas provide lots of shelter and places for this shy, secretive species to live. Did you know that they weren't even discovered until 1901 because they are so good at hiding? Okapi have quite a few adaptations to help them survive in the rainforest, like water-repellent fur, hardy stomachs, and excellent camouflage. The Okapi's body is covered in reddish-brown fur that is thick and velvety but very oily. This helps to keep them dry on rainy days. It's just like the waterproofing in our rain jackets. Their zebra-like stripes on their back legs help break up the body shape amongst the trees and bushes, so it's harder for predators to spot them. However, their stripes have another important function. They are often called follow-me stripes to help baby Okapi follow their moms. It can be easy to lose sight of an Okapi with their dark fur and low light, but the bold white pattern sticks out for a calf to be able to follow behind. Here at the Houston Zoo, our Okapi enjoy a diet of browse, which can be any of the flowers, fruit, herbs, or leaves grown around zoo grounds. They also eat alfalfa, special herbivore pellets, and veggies like sweet potato, carrots, and lettuce. Herbivores are any animal that eat only plants, and these herbivore pellets are made to contain all of the nutrients they need, just like your dog or cat food. In the wild, Okapi forage for a wider variety of foods to get the nutrients they need. Their long prehensile tongue helps them strip leaves, shoots, and twigs from trees and bushes. But they will also eat berries, fungi, and other plants which are often poisonous to animals and humans. Okapis will sometimes dig for clay in the mud as well to get minerals like salt that they may not be getting from the vegetation they're eating. Because Okapis live in similar habitats as chimpanzees, you can also help save them in the wild by recycling your devices.
My name is Megan and I am a carnivore keeper here at the Houston Zoo. Barani is our Malayan tiger and he is 7 years old. He will be 8 at the end of August. Malayan tigers are actually one of the smaller tiger subspecies. Barani here weighs 301 pounds, but the largest species of tigers can actually weigh between 600 and 700 pounds. So Barani was actually foster raised by a Sumatran tiger at the Point Defiance Zoo, and he was raised with a foster brother as well. But naturally, you're going to see these cats in the wild living by themselves. So that's why Barani has this whole habitat to himself. Barani loves enrichment. One of his favorite things is to smell different scents, as well as he loves to eat cantaloupe. When you visit the Houston Zoo, you'll often see Barani patrolling his territory or walking that exterior of his pool area. It's exactly what tigers are going to do in the wild to make sure that their territory is protected. And oftentimes, depending on the time of day, Barani might be waiting to see keepers and see if we're going to give him some tasty snacks. Here at the Houston Zoo, we want to do our best to help save Malayan tigers in the wild. So we partner with the Tiger Conservation Campaign, and through that organization, we have helped set up over 100 camera traps to help protect Malayan tigers, as well as we support over 500 anti-poaching patrols that help remove snares and traps to help save these animals in the wild. Just by supporting the Houston Zoo, you are helping to save tigers like Barani in the wild.
How many of you have or know someone who has a cell phone, digital camera, tablet, laptop, or iPad in your home? We all do. Our homes are filled with these electronic devices, and they all have one thing in common. Inside, they're filled with chips and a little tiny piece of tantalum. Tantalum is something that can be found in the ground in Central Africa in places where chimps and okapis live. When we dig tantalum up out of the ground, it means that these animals have to find a new home. But we can help. By recycling electronic devices with the Houston Zoo, you guys can help us save animals in the wild. Here's how you can help. All you'll need is your home, the space in it, and your parents' permission. Step 1, walk through your home, checking in drawers, in closets, underneath the bed for any old and unused electronic devices. Step 2, collect all those devices. Maybe snap a picture and tag us on social media. And step 3, bring those items up to the zoo to donate once the zoo starts its recycling program.
The electric eel is a long, snake-like fish with a flattened head that is found in dark freshwater habitats in South America. They might look like eels and be called eels, but they're really relatives of catfish. One unique thing about electric eels is they are nocturnal fish. Similarly to catfish, they will spend their evenings searching for food. Adult electric eels are carnivores, and they eat other fish, crustaceans, insects, and small amphibians, reptiles, and even mammals. Since they have poor eyesight and live in poorly lit water, they use weak electrical fields to navigate and identify their surroundings. Just like a bat using echolocation to find bugs in the night sky, electric eels will seek out fish by sending out electrical pulses. Once a prey item is found, the electric eel will encircle it and send out a strong burst of electricity to stun its prey before consuming it. Their electric shock is so strong, it can temporarily light up a small Christmas tree covered in lights. These fascinating animals need clean water to survive. We can all do our part to help keep the waterways healthy by reducing our use of single-use plastics and recycling properly. Simply by switching to reusable bags, water bottles, and straws, we can help keep plastics, which are harmful to eels and other marine animals, out of the water. Here at the Houston Zoo, we're doing our part to help save marine animals in the wild by eliminating all single-use plastic bags, bottles, and straws. Texas leafcutter ants, like the ones you see here, are found in portions of Louisiana and Texas in open fields, forests, and brushland. Here at the Houston Zoo, they're found in a special exhibit inside the bug house. We have so many leafcutter ants that it's impossible to count. We think there are about 250,000. Would you like to count them all? These ants are called leafcutter ants because, well, they cut leaves. They are farmers and they cut leaves not to eat, but to feed their food, which is a fungus. They are so good at being farmers that when the fungus gets too wet, they'll cut things that are a little bit drier. And when it's dry, they'll cut leaves that have more moisture. It takes a large community of individuals working together to ensure the colony's survival, and each ant has a very important job. Typically, colonies have a single queen which continues to produce eggs, up to 2 million. The rest of the colony consists of worker ants that help take care of the queen and eggs, tend to the fungal gardens, and seek out food items for the fungus. Here at the Houston Zoo, you can observe the fungal gardens in the underground tunnels through the glass front exhibit. A camera shows the ants traveling back and forth between a food station where keepers provide items for the ants to harvest to the tunnels. Some ants also take waste out of the tunnels and travel to a separate area they designate for trash.
Hi, my name is Tammy Burmaster. I'm a primate keeper here at the Houston Zoo, and today we will be talking about orangutans and specifically Rudy Valentino. Rudy is the oldest orangutan male in North America. He is 41 and a half years old. He'll be 42 in December, and he's lived here at the Houston Zoo for 41 years. He's pretty awesome. He weighs 276 pounds. He stands about 5 feet 4 inches, and his arm span is 8 feet 2 inches. So when you come to the Houston Zoo, you might wonder, how do I know that's Rudy Valentino? Well, Rudy is the only male orangutan that we have here at the Houston Zoo. You can tell the difference from him when you look at him. He's got these big cheek pads on the side of his head, and he also got blonde highlights and blonde highlights in his beard. He's also the largest orangutan that we have here on the grounds at the Houston Zoo. So unfortunately, some orangutans do not have it as nice here as Rudy Valentino does. You know, in the wild, they are considered critically endangered due to their loss of habitat. But when you come to the Houston Zoo, you are helping animals in the wild by buying a ticket. And we are actually planting plants to make corridors for the orangutans to travel throughout the different areas of Borneo safely.
It's so neat to see how different animals use their adaptations and skills to survive in the wild. This is my friend Ernie, and Ernie's a North American porcupine. He was born here in September of 2007, which makes him 12 years old. Now, Ernie has some very special skills and adaptations as well. If you look closely, you can see that his body is covered in quills. Underneath all that fur, he's got over 30,000 of these quills that help to keep him safe from predators. Now, the quills are made up of the same thing as our hair, and if Ernie gets startled or scared, he can curl up and it forces his hair to stick straight up and point those quills towards his predators. And I don't know about you guys, but I would not want to get a mouthful of these quills. They're very sharp, and contrary to popular belief, porcupines cannot shoot their quills. Instead, what happens is, because they're made of the same thing that our hair is made out of, as they grow, they'll eventually fall out. Ernie actually has a couple that are a little loose, and they're stuck and matted in all this fur. If Ernie gave a shake to readjust his hair, sometimes those quills will fall out, which gives the impression that they can shoot their quills. But I'm actually very safe standing right here next to Ernie because he and I are good friends and we've worked together for a while. Ernie's also an expert at climbing trees. If you look closely, he has long curved claws that are great for not only holding onto his food, but grabbing onto branches and pulling himself up as well. By climbing trees, Ernie's able to find a safe space to sleep and rest away from predators. Over the years, Ernie's zookeepers have been able to train him on a variety of behaviors. These things include targeting, turning, and even standing up and waving goodbye. Using some of his favorite foods, like carrots and sweet potatoes, let's see if we can get him to wave goodbye to you guys. What special skills do you all have? Join us next week as we bring the zoo to you.
Hi, I'm Lee Emke, the President and CEO of the Houston Zoo. After more than 2 months of being closed, we are ready and excited to welcome you back to reconnect with the animals you know and love. To ensure the health and safety of you, your family, and our animals, here are a few of the modifications you can expect during your next visit.
The Houston Zoo is now accepting advanced reservations, online only, for all visitors and zoo members at houstonzoo.org. For the health and safety of our guests, staff, and animals, and to ensure adequate social distancing, a limited number of timed tickets will be available each day and only available online at houstonzoo.org. Pick the day and time you'd like to visit, and you will receive an electronic ticket that can be scanned by one of our team members when you arrive. Once inside, guests will follow a modified one-way path through the zoo to see many of their favorite animals in outdoor wildlife habitats, including elephants, rhinos, gorillas, lions, and many more. Guests will not have access to indoor animal exhibits or high-touch areas of the zoo. Some sit-down restaurants are open at limited capacity, and food and beverages are available for purchase at multiple locations. All food and beverage locations are credit card only. All zoo staff are required to wear masks while working, and as recommended by the Houston Health Department and the CDC, guests are strongly encouraged to wear a face covering when visiting the zoo. Hand sanitizer stations are positioned at the entrance and exit and along the path, including restrooms and food locations. Zoo staff will disinfect all high-touch surfaces, including vending machines, tables, chairs, and more. For more detailed information and to reserve your ticket, visit houstonzoo.org.